do the research.
Okay.
It is very affordable, and you can definitely do it on a very small amount of money, but you have to be smart about it.
Okay.
When I first arrived here, I was like a tourist. We were doing some of everything. And so, say that little $5,000 that I had, it was going pretty quickly. And to a point where, after a while, it was like, okay, I need to slow it down. So that's when that mindset, you have to. I know you said you left home early, and for me, I did the same thing. I left home very early. I was actually 16 years old, and it taught me how to survive on
Oh,
very little. you know.
yeah.
And so with my kids and my dad, when we had those tough times, we just made it work. I grew up in the South as well, so I grew up on, you have chicken one day and you go eat that chicken the next day.
Yeah.
You might have hot dogs one day,
Yep.
or pork and beans and weenies, that type
Yep.
of thing. So, I know how to survive. So for me, if you were like when a situation like me, I was desperate to get out of the United States, not only for myself, but again for my family. And so I made it work. If you want to do something, you can do it. You just got to plan ahead and definitely save your coins. I'm not gonna say come out here with nothing, but it's doable with I would say under $5,000.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So, thank you for answering that question because I know it's going to be different for everybody. Like some people have to have, I don't know, 5 bedrooms, whereas
Hmm.
you and I, we might just only need 2 bedrooms. So I know
Yes.
it depends on. So, but here's the thing: if you're listening, everybody that's listening to me, if you know somebody else that wants to visit the Yucatan area, you're not alone. Coach Ty
Hmm.
is here for you.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
her website is right there. While you can, go ahead and book the consult because I don't see
Definitely.
me in this price forever.
Yes, I have an amazing price for those consults. Like I said, when I arrived, I had very little funds. And so, getting that kind of like all in one stop, I kind of am able to handle everything within this consultation. Find out what your needs, uncover those needs, and get you exactly what you want. And find it in a quickly manner and affordable pricing as well.
She really
Um,
does do that, y'all. I
yes.
vouch for that.
Yes, yes. There are a lot of, other options, but I think for me, like I said, I'm a hustler and, I have a full-time job, but this is kind of like my, second full-time job. And so I'm wanting to offer these prices at a low price because I was once in your shoes where I needed help and I needed it then, but at a reasonable price. So these consultations are at the low price of $25 for 30 minutes or $45 for an hour. And again, I will give you everything, answer any questions within that consultation as well.
Yeah, and she does. And not only that, you've given me more than what I expected because you've been giving me feedback, you answer my questions even afterwards. So I agree. Just reach out to her. If you know someone that's going to be going to Mexico, or if you ever wanted to go to Mexico, if you live in America,
Hmm.
because based upon my limited amount of time that I've spent in Mexico, so I've only been to Tijuana, Puerto Vallarta, in Mexico City. So right now, but next week it'll be different. And
Yes.
but if it's just something good about having somebody there already that you know.
Hmm.
And I encourage the listening audience to consider to travel more. All I know is after this traveling that I've done, my mindset has really just expanded. I'm
Hmm.
not the same person.
Hmm.
The new experiences with people and what have you, I'm just not the same. Here's another question. Do I have to know Spanish really good in order to travel? To
Okay, so prior to moving here, I did not know Spanish at all. I took French in school, so go figure. But I didn't know it. My kids, no one knew Spanish. It is very good to learn. We have been practicing. I probably should practice a whole lot more, but it is not necessarily needed. There were a lot of things like Google Translate that you can use. Here you will find that the locals are so amazing at trying to help and understand. They want to learn English just like you're wanting to learn Spanish. So a lot of times you guys are teaching, I'm teaching them just as well as they're teaching me. So it's not a requirement, but it is very good to learn. I feel like if you're moving to a different country, you're in someone else's land, you want to learn the language, you want to learn the culture. I think that's really what it's all about for me.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, Coach Ty.
Sure.
Say something in Spanish to us.
Oh,
Anything.
sure. Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Qué tal? And I threw a little bit of slang in there that I kind of learned here in the Yucatan as well. So that basically means hello, good afternoon, how are you doing?
Oh,
And you could say bien, bien, y tú? Which is good, good. What about you?
okay. See, I told you guys we were going to learn on here today for sure.
And
Thank
trust me,
you.
that is nothing. I mean, it's so much more to the language, but you learn those, few little words, it'll take you very far.
Awesome. Awesome. I am so excited. I'm excited about coming to the Yucatan area next week. I'm excited about possibly exploring some new adventures with you in the area. Um,
Yes.
I know that I've been placed on this earth to put money into females' hands.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
I know that that's what God has called me to do, and
Hmm.
I'm so excited about being able to do that really around the world.
Yes.
That's why this month is called Unleash Your Potential Month for the
Hmm.
month of July. We're
Hmm.
going to be having guests from around the world. Coach Ty, you started it off with a week
Wow.
one, you know, and thank you so much because to me, you really did unleash your potential. You've
Wow.
done it.
I
You did it.
appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Trust me, it has not been easy, and that was one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel, Adventures of Ty, because I wanted people to know that, no matter what you have been through, no matter what situation you are in, you can come out of it. I've been through so much in my life, and a lot of people would probably say, oh my gosh, or use it as a crutch, and I decided not to. I felt, I realized, I would say after my mom passed, that, there's so much more to life. There is so much out there for us than that little box, I think, that we kind of get stuck in. And moving here, it has completely, opened my mind and my whole thought process. Before it was just, I just want to move to a nice house. I've always had that dream, move to a nice house with this white picket fence and, have a husband and this and that. And I'm like, that's all I ever wanted.
Yeah,
That's it.
you can go rent that for 1 month.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
So I'm
no,
just loving life right now, and I just want to share, with everybody. I think what you're doing is amazing for people like you and me that are out there that find themselves in a situation or just want more out of life. Not only was I getting older in age, but my kids were also getting older in age, and this world is crazy. And honestly, I used to say this world, but honestly, it might just be America. Sometimes I wonder if it's just us that, it's going crazy, with the violence and the crime, and it's just so
yeah,
much going on. And it's not only, it's in the school systems, in the
yeah,
churches, it's
everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah,
And I just want it better for my kids. And
I
I
don't.
want,
I'm not sure if you knew about what happened with the gentleman walking into the church in Charleston and killing
no.
all those innocent people during church services.
Oh no.
That happened a few years back when you talked about the violence. And I don't know if I've ever met any person of color that has
Mm-hmm.
never been affected by somebody in their family being killed, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
due to gun violence or some other types of situations. You know what I'm saying, Coach
Yeah,
Ty?
it
So
happens every day.
yeah, yeah, and then but when I look at you, I watched your video, a recent video where you went to get some ice cream
Mm-hmm.
and you were walking at night by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yes.
know, in the area where you live to go get ice cream. And
Yes.
even though, like, I live in Vegas now, right? But here's the thing: I don't know if I will really walk at night by myself in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. It's
So,
completely different here.
yes,
Everyone is just, I mean, violence, things are going to happen anywhere you go. You can't stop that. But it's very less likely to happen here. It's the second most safest place to live here in Merida. And so that is a norm for me and my family. We go out and we travel, whether it's night or early morning, we feel completely safe. The culture is just so different here. There are things that they just don't worry about. They protect themselves. They are very cautious as far as the security goes, but they don't. There's no thing. Nothing happens here. Nothing really happens here.
We went to Dubai last year, and I remember Brian getting up like at 4:30 in the morning, and he had to go to the grocery store because we elected to stay where the just regular people live. We didn't stay in like a 5-star hotel when we were there. And he got up and he went and he came back. He said, "You know what? Nobody bothered me."
Yeah.
He said, "Nobody did anything to me, Tanya. I just walked to the store, minding my own business, and I came right on back, and it was nothing." You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I never felt threatened. I never felt like anybody was going to hurt me. I didn't feel that way in Mexico when we went to different parts of Mexico also. So I'm glad that you did it. Know that I support you. You got a stalker on YouTube. It's not not a troll.
Keep watching. Definitely keep watching. I have so much in store. Like I said, we just moved to this beautiful home. So I can't wait to kind of give everybody tours of the updates. We started here with a little bit of nothing. I think we had kind of touched up on this before. When you move here, you have plans and things that you want to do. And I think one of the main things for us was finding a house. When we got here, we had literally just the bags. And so we found a furnished house, our first house, a beautiful house, but it was fairly small. It was an older house. And so, it was a little cramped. And so the next house, we found a house within the same budget, just a few dollars more, but it was semi-furnished. So we've kind of been dealing with, we have hammocks and blow-up mattresses now. We have to take it back a little bit, but that's okay. Sometimes you gotta step back just a little bit, just to move a few more steps ahead. So look, these kids, they still love it. They don't know any different, and I think that's the good part about it. I know when I was growing up, people would probably say our life we struggle, but to me, it didn't seem like a struggle to me. It seemed like good times. We had very good times, and so that's kind of the thing that I'm loving that I'm able to do here. I actually have time to do it now. I think in states you get so wound up and caught up in so much, the hustle and bustle. And here it's just it's slowed down. Everything is just laid back. It's like take time for yourself, take time for your kids. You don't think about that in the United States.
Yeah, that's important to me. I have something that I said, practice self-care each day. You deserve it. And then that's so important. And one thing I've learned about traveling more so over the last 5 or 6 years abroad is that you walk a lot. So, so that's one tip. If you listening audience, if you're going to be traveling, especially outside the United States, know this: wear your walking shoes and be prepared to walk, which is a good thing. Yeah, be prepared to walk. And I enjoy walking because you get to see more.
But you want to be comfortable and you want to be prepared, because in that heat, of course, you're going to be dehydrated. So you want to make sure you always got your water, always have some comfortable shoes. What I found is I have to wear tights because with the way my thighs are set up, that friction, it don't work. So you want to be comfortable.
I'm the same way.
So much walking here. I've lost so much weight prior to coming here. When I tell you I could walk down the